I could not believe what I saw today. Well, I'm not even shocked anymore because this type of stuff has been going on for years, really. The pro-choice movement, these activists, so-called activists who are standing up for women's reproductive rights and healthcare and all these things that they guise their terminology under, is nothing more than satanic Baal Moloch worship, ritual sacrifice to Baal and Moloch. The Satanic Temple openly admitted years ago, they put out some things saying that we want to have rights to abortion, and if you can't make laws against religious rights, then we will say, hey, this is our religious right to do an abortion ritual. So the Satanic Church has openly said that we do abortions as satanic rituals. And they think it's tongue-in-cheek, but this is all deception. They don't even realize that they are a tool of Satan. You know, I used to be into Marilyn Manson, and he would tear up Bibles on stage, and he probably did it all for shock value. And if you asked him if you worship the devil, he'd say, no way. But isn't it crazy how Satan can actually use you as a tool and make you think, oh, you don't really worship the devil. You're just ripping up Bibles on stage. You're literally doing Satan's work, thinking that you're not doing Satan's work. It's insane. But I'm just going to get right into this. This happened in Florida, and it was called a family-friendly event. And you're going to be shocked. This is insane. Listen to the laughing. That looks like Marilyn Manson. What are these gay guys out here for? Well, it's a drag show. Look at that. Slapping the dead baby on the chest of those shirtless guys. And everybody's cheering. This is for Christmas this past last year. I mean, I've seen stuff like this, but it's just, I haven't seen it in a family-friendly setting. The time I seen it before, it was some drag queen at a bar sitting on top of the bar, and he actually cut his stomach open and pulled out a blood sac and was filling his cup with blood and letting blood run all over him. And people don't see that this is demonic and satanic, that the pro-choice movement, the choice to murder your child in the womb, is some kind of freedom and a right. Don't take away my rights to rip out my child from the womb limb by limb. It is a life. And this is insane that we've reached a place where we are so debased that we can't even see what it is. You know, there are laws that protect an eagle egg. Like if you break an eagle egg, you can be imprisoned or fined heavily. Laws that protect sea turtles and seals and all kinds of animal life. But when it comes to the human life, there are actually laws in certain states. I've heard in New York, you can actually have an abortion up to the term of delivery, that they will actually turn the baby around or something and birth most of the baby. And then as long as the head doesn't come out, they can stab the brain and kill the baby at full term. I mean, this is insanity. This is literally child sacrifice under the guise of Planned Parenthood, women's rights, women's reproductive health, and all this stuff. So check this out. This is what Life News said. Drag show performers simulate bloody abortion at kid-friendly event in Orlando, Florida. This just happened at Christmas time. So this article came out January 3rd, 2023. Oh my goodness. This was a lot older than I thought, but this is starting to resurface. I guess this is kind of like a leaked video. I'm actually just now realizing this for the first time, that this was some years old. But it says the video clip of a supposed pregnant drag queen simulating a gruesome abortion on stage is sickening. Apparently, the pro-choice drag queens are giving a political statement in favor of abortion. So anyone that thinks that, you know, oh, it's just mindless entertainment, oh, it's just art, that there's no real agenda, that is just ignorance. Every form of art and entertainment has some form of message in there. You know, there's a moral, or there's an agenda, or there's some kind of a message that that director, that writer wanted to put in that movie or play or song or whatever it is, there's really no such thing as just mindless entertainment. I mean, we try to chalk it up as that because we enjoy it and we don't want to feel guilty for enjoying that. The article continues, Plaza Live allowed children of all ages into the show despite a letter from state authorities explicitly warning that the venue's license would be revoked if minors were permitted. Florida's Voice and the Post-Millennial reported that children did attend the show in Orlando, one of 4 tour stops in Florida for the national tour of Drag Queen Christmas. So this is just pure insanity. Why? I don't understand the reasoning. If you want to get a message across, you should present the facts. You know, they're always saying this is life of the mother and this is women's reproductive health, and it's really not. When you look at the statistics, how many abortions are due to rape, incest, and life of the mother? It's less than 1%. The majority of abortions are out of convenience. And that's facts. That's statistical facts. Now, if there's some kind of predicament where the mother is potentially going to lose her life, that would be a situation where the doctor, not an abortion clinic, but a doctor says, this could end your life. And I'm not going to say that the doctor should give an option, but if there was an option given, that's when it would happen. When the life of the mother is right there in the hospital and the doctor says, you're either going to have this baby and potentially die, or we can terminate this pregnancy. But that doesn't give you an excuse to say, well, some women die and there's also rapes and incest. So therefore we should have clinics all over the world for women to just conveniently have their child ripped out of the womb for the choices that they made. We all have to reap the consequences of what we sow. If we have sex, then the consequence of that is potentially birthing a child. If you have it out of wedlock or any of these things, just know that that is the potential risk. And you don't say, well, if I get pregnant, I'll just kill the baby. I'll just murder the baby. This is how debased we are today. I want to show you some other examples because I'm seeing a common thread with Satanism, the LGBT movement, and murder, child sacrifice. I've been seeing this for years now, that whenever they have a rally, if they have a pride parade, you always see the Satanist out there. You always see the witches, and you always see the pro-choice movement. But just look at how disgusting and disturbing this display is of activism. They're trying to get their point across that they should have the right to kill a baby, and this is how they do it. This is their logic.
The Satanic Temple is an activist organization of self-identified Satanists.
God, cast into hell, Satan, and all the evil spirits.
So notice you got BDSM, you got homosexuality.
The meaning is a little bit lost on us.
We're talking about the abstraction and fetishization of the fetal image as one that speaks and diminishes women's power and voice.
Expose the violence of abortion. That's what those posters
I disagree that abortion is violent, and I believe that your actions are violent.
Your actions are violent. So this lady, she's trying to keep a calm composure, even though there's this sadistic act going on in the background, and she's trying to gaslight these people. These people are at abortion clinics and at Planned Parenthood, and they're showing you what you are doing. This is a photograph of what comes out of you. See, nobody wants to admit that it's not just a clump of cells. It's not just a fish, as the argument is said. It is a human life, and it has fingernails, toenails, eyelashes, eyelids, a beating heart. And so when you show that to them, when you display the truth, because the truth will set you free, and the truth makes darkness flee. When you show the truth in a photograph, these people get offended and say, what you're doing is violent. When that is just gaslighting, because these people are trying to show you the truth of your actions. And so these people, they're just coming out and being complete psychopaths, dressed up as babies and rolling all around on the ground. and just doing all these crazy things, they're not making a point. They don't have a case. And they know they don't have a case, and therefore all they can do is try to resort to ridicule and mocking, because that's what always happens when someone is presented with the truth, whether it's a conspiracy theory that causes a cognitive dissonance to go off in somebody's mind, or the earth is flat, or whatever it is. The person who's hearing that, receiving that, does not have a rebuttal, and therefore they call you crazy and they just call you names. And this is just how it is. So when I see, okay, who here has the better argument? The people who are holding up actual photographic evidence of what's happening when you have an abortion, or those who are rolling around on the floor who look like they're demon possessed? Speaking of demonic possession, like I said, the Satanic Church, the homosexual pride movement, pride was Lucifer's fall, and abortion, child sacrifice, all go together, hand in hand. So check this out, because this is another insane display. They're saying, thank God for abortion. What kind of statement is this proving? What are they doing? All they're doing is proving that we're right, that this is literally the most sadistic thing you can do, is to murder a child. And they're literally on the ground smashing baby dolls onto the ground, and that's their activism. They're saying we demand abortion as we smash babies on the ground. They're literally showing their true colors. Whether they want to accept it or believe it or not, that's the truth of the matter. And we're in the last days, guys. If you cannot see it so clearly, the Bible talks about the times that will come when Christ returns. But in Leviticus 18:21, it's talking about, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Moloch, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. So God is talking about this Moloch child sacrifice. This is something that's been going on since the beginning of time, since the beginning of Satan coming to earth and deceiving humanity. So there was a time of child sacrifice. Jeremiah 19:5 says, they have built also the high places of Baal. Remember, there's a statue of Baal and Moloch with his hands on fire. His hands are glowing hot, and people would willfully put their born children on the hands of Moloch or Baal, and that child would burn to death, and they would do it willingly. Wait a minute, aren't we willingly having abortions? Just because the person who's ending the life of your child is wearing a white lab coat and claims to be a doctor doesn't make it right. It doesn't justify the wickedness that it is. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I command not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Now, these people who are blasting God, these pro-choice activists who are out here mocking Christians, mocking God, mocking the Bible, they're mocking the God of love, who says, do not kill your children. Thou shalt not kill. I've come to bring you life and life more abundantly. The God of love, they are mocking as they say, give us the rights and the freedom to murder. It's so bizarre, and I can't understand how people can't see through this. Like, people can't see through the deception. The deception is so thick, and we've been blinded by the God of this world, who is Satan, that we can't even see that murdering a child is murdering a child. It's so bizarre. Matthew 24. This is talking about the time. We all know Matthew 24 is about the second coming of Christ. And it says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. When you really look into what were the days of Noah like, it says that only evil continually was in the hearts and minds of the people. All the people, only evil continually. Think about the world that we're living in. Only evil continually. What are people doing with the majority of their time? They are playing violent video games, a murder simulator where all day long or for hours on end, they're murder, killing people. Now let's pop in a movie. Let's watch Deadpool or whatever the new movies are that are out. I don't even keep up with them. But how many movies glorify witchcraft? adultery, fornication, murder, violence. So this is the day and age where we are back in the days of Noah, where our thoughts are only evil continually. Everything put before our eyes is disgusting and sinful. We are in the days of Noah, and it was also a day of violence. Luke 17:28 says, likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. Who was the days of Lot? That was Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot got pulled out. Lot and his family got pulled out of Sodom and Gomorrah. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. They were going on with life as usual, even though it was so disgusting in that city that God couldn't take it anymore. He said, there are none righteous in that city, except for Abraham prayed for his nephew Lot to be pulled out of that city. And that's the power of intercessory prayer. Your prayer can change God's mind about a judgment, just like Moses on the mountaintop when the Israelites they passed through the parted waters, they get on the other side and they begin to worship a golden calf. God had every right to destroy them. They are in a relationship with him and they committed spiritual fornication, adultery on God. He had every right to destroy them, but Moses pleaded with the Lord, and it says that God repented of this wicked thing he thought to do, and he preserved the life of the Israelites. That's the mercy and grace of God. But we're coming in a time of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was openly known for the LGBTQ pride lifestyle that they had, to where they even wanted the men wanted to fornicate with the angels when they came in to pull Abraham or Lot and his family out. They crowded around the house. They were pushing in on the house, trying to have sex with these beautiful men, angels. I'm sure they look glorious and beautiful because they're perfect. And they were so wicked that they wanted to commit homosexual acts with the angels, not to mention child sacrifice and all these other things that were going on in that day. Are we living in that time of day? Jude 1:7 actually gives us a description of Sodom and Gomorrah, and it says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh. That could be anything that's not your husband or your wife is strange flesh. It could be bestiality. It could be children. It could be the same gender. Giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Look, guys, I'm trying to bring this to the forefront because we are living in the last days. I don't know how much proof people need out there, but there are a lot of people who, even Christians, who think, look, we still got lots of time. Like, it's not as bad as the days of Noah or Sodom and Gomorrah. Like that, they were totally wicked back then. We are just so blinded and desensitized, like the frog in the kettle, over time, that we don't realize how wicked we are. You can just go back even 30 years when I was growing up in the world. At least most of the people that I knew at least claimed to believe in God or have some kind of morals, and they thought, abortion was wrong. And now all of it's gone out the window, and we are living in the last days. If you can't see it, please pray for discernment. Please pray that your blinders will be knocked off. Get in God's word. This is the time like no other. This is not a time to be playing one foot in the church, one foot in the world. We need to get in God's word. We need to pray daily, pray without ceasing. We need to be getting a relationship closer to God than ever before, because right now we have spiritual entities flying in our skies. We have children or child-friendly entertainment where it's homosexual acts of abortion and spreading blood on each other. This is the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. If you can't see that, you need to pray for discernment. I love you guys. God bless you guys. Keep seeking the truth. We are bringing the truth here at Candid Truth. I love you guys. We can't do this without you. If you want to support this ministry, you can do so by going to Cashapp, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. We also have a lot of cool t-shirts if you like t-shirts with scripture. And also our slogan is, it's cool to use your brain. Hollywood's trying to make you think it's not cool to use your brain, that a nerd will get shoved in the locker, and it's way cooler to just be dumb and just get drunk and hook up with every chick you want. But we got this cool t-shirt be cool, use your brain. It's got the brain with the sunglasses on, showing that it's cool. We love you guys. We'll see you next time on Candid Truth.